We are back. We are back for review number 17. All right, 17 is going to take a few days because we're going to go back how to solve a quadratic equation. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about what the heck is a quadratic equation. What makes something a quadratic? Quadratic has an x squared. Good. So there's a few different methods. Today we're just going to stick with factoring. All right. We're going to factor the quadratic if needed. We're going to set each factor equal to 0, solve the little mini parentheses, and we're going to get the roots. The roots are the same thing as the answers, the solution, the zeros. They all mean the same thing. So if you look at my examples, these are not on your paper. Okay. Example number 1 already has the factors for you. They're already in parentheses. Okay? And you may be able to tell me the answers right away, right? But just to show your work, you would set each parenthesis equal to 0. Okay, then I would have x plus 2 is 0. So the opposite of 2 is negative 2. And then the opposite of negative 4 is 4. Okay. So the answers would go in curly brackets or sideways mustaches would be negative 2 or 4. All right, so remember, we talk about that if they're already in the parentheses, the answers are the opposite of the numbers. Now, in my second example, we don't have the factors, okay? We don't have a product, so we have to factor. So we know this is a trinomial when a is 1. So it's what multiplies to 12 and adds to 7. Okay, so Miss Irving, we used to make a list of the numbers that multiply to 12 and then what adds to 7. All right, and from here you should know that the answers are the opposites of whatever's in the parentheses. But just to show an extra step, negative 3 or negative 4. Okay, so our answers for that one would be negative 3 or negative 4. Okay, and I actually don't like the way I wrote that because it's not in numerical order, but that wouldn't really matter. And if you, for some reason, don't put them in the parentheses, it's not a big deal. You just don't do that. All right, so there's a couple different ones that you need to remember how to do. The first one, again, was already factored. The second one wasn't, so we had to think of the factoring method we had to use. All right, and now just an extra example here. Okay, it's not factored. I know I'm going to use dots. So this should be x and then what should it be? What's the square root of 81? Good. Plus 9 and minus 9. You should know the answers now are the opposites. So we get x is negative 9 or x is positive 9. Okay? So negative 9 or positive 9 would be your two values. All right, now what we're going to do is you're going to go along, all right, and you're going to work on A, B, C, and D of exercise 1. All right, A is already factored, B and D is not. Okay, cross off C. Then the top one, E, you use dots. F, there's an issue because it's not equal to 0. So you need to get the equation equal to 0 before you can factor and solve. All right. Then after that, what we'll do is we will go through a couple multiple choice answers. All right. And we'll talk about how you can answer these questions or find the roots, okay, without solving, and where you can just use your calculator.